Right. A company contracted to do 3 things, which it had also advertised on its website. Later, after these interviews and the exposé, took those portions down. It appears those portions are back on its page because the GRA supports them that they have actually done and they are doing the work that they are supposed to be doing. Under declaration, diversion, and dilution of petroleum products. So what do we say when the head of the company says, we don't do this, and we have not sought to advertise them? Even if you have seen it being advertised, that was an error. We don't do that. Joining me, Alexander Kofi Mensah-Mould, former acting CEO, NPA, and he was CEO of the GMPC. He is finance and energy advisor. Manasseh Azure Awene, who is lead investigator with his 2 other colleagues, Evans and Ajua, who did this documentary piece, is also joining us. Manasseh is presently a journalism fellow, Harvard University. We also have Richard Mafo, technical assistant to the managing director of the SML company. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. We have some 50 minutes, a lot of sufficient time to look at this story again. And as I mentioned, please send us your messages and we will share them. If you have questions, if you believe in the GRAs and the other statements that have come up seeking to deny some of the things you have seen in the documentary with the evidence, let's also know what you think. But first, Manasseh, it took you guys how long to do this documentary investigation?
Because we started the work somewhere late last year, November, December, with the groundworks, and by January we started contacting the NPA, and there were delays here and there, but we were able to finish, and by May, June, we had leave that GRA had other aspects of the sector that has to do or have to do with revenue. So we went to GRA. So it's about a year's documentary.
So why did it take you so long for such a serious story?
Well, we needed to get permission to visit all the places. And a typical example was when we contacted NPA and they agreed that they would give us access to the command center. We also needed permission of a sort from the third-party operators at those command centers. And at a point, some had traveled out of the country. So we had to wait. And in investigation, sometimes you need to understand one point before you move to the other. So when we went to GRA 2, it took some time to get all the permissions, and we write letters. A typical example is we write into the GRA in July this year to ask for documentation contracts, and till now they haven't given us. In November again, we wrote to the GRA invoking the right to information law and also the Ministry of Finance that we are aware contracts of this nature exist. So give them to us. As we speak, they have still not given us a contract. So we have to sometimes rely on people who are able to leak one document or two. and then do the story. And I think so far, the only aspect of the story, or the documents we got from them, mind you, we didn't get these contract documents from anywhere else. Everything is from them. We have evidence to prove. We know that the only thing they are contesting is the number of years, which perhaps at a point they changed. But when we got these documents, it was 10 years. So some of those delays and getting permission becomes difficult. I think the only institution that responded very promptly was the Petroleum Commission, when we wrote to them to find out whether, as regulators of the industry, they knew about this. I think the Petroleum Commission took the RTR request very seriously, and they responded very promptly.
So you requested to be given or shown the contract, which is at the center of your investigations. And you wrote in July, you wrote in November, and you didn't get it. You didn't get it.
That is correct.
So the conclusion, therefore, is that you don't have the contract.
That is the official conclusion. But as investigators, you also rely on sources from within who know about the contract and who sometimes can leak a document or two to you. And it is common practice with investigation all over the world. The famous Watergate scandal, you hear something like deep throat sources. The reason organizations won't give the contract is that they know that some of the things in there are not good enough. And if they don't give it to you, you don't have a story to sell. If you don't have a story to sell, that becomes the end of it. So they didn't, but we asked, and some sources leaked some information.
So just hold on for a minute for me, a second for me. For our radio audience, presently what we are projecting is contract for consolidation of revenue assurances between the government of Ghana, acting through the Ministry of Finance and the Ghana Revenue Authority, and Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited. The next slide you see is the execution page, the signature page. And you see there's a signature for the Minister of Finance. And there is a witness with a name and a known person also witnessing that. Then you have the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority also witnessing it. And in fact, when you look on it, you see a stamp. It's Ghana Revenue Authority, Commissioner General's Office. And you see the date of the stamp on it is the 25th of October, 2023. So you have the Commissioner General sign, you have a witness. The witness is an Assistant Commissioner for Legal Services. And then you have another signature by Evan Seduse, Chief Executive Officer of the company, Strategic Mobilization Limited, and that is also duly witnessed. And you see the stamp of the company also on this document. I will show you this last slide, and I'll continue with my interaction with my guests. There's a third slide. We showed you the title of the contract. The next one is the signature page for the contract. And the very final one, we are just showing you, yes, this very final one, you see the terms of the contracts. So you see, it says this contract shall commence on the effective date and shall continue in effect for a period of 10 years from the effective date, unless terminated as provided for in this contract, extended by mutual agreement between the parties. Then there is a renewal clause as well, when they may renew the contracts. So, Manasseh, what do you say to the major plank of one of the major, issues raised by the GRA in their statement to the public, which they say with emphasis that the contract is for 5 and not for 10 years? What do you say to that?
Well, something we have still not got the contract. Nobody has published the contract anywhere. But we have also seen a page. So far, everything we have published about this contract, they are not denying anything, except a page, the page 13, which is on the duration. We have seen a page circulating in some quarters, and I think sources close to the GRA and also the company, saying that page says it is now 5 years, subject to another 5-year renewal. And what we suspect is that at a point, that page was amended. And let me put on record that
Manasseh, the page you have seen, have you seen it with the execution page, signing where the people involved have signed? Have you seen it with any signatures?
I have seen that page separately. They are just separate pages.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to say is that when you look at the entire transaction, it appears a bit fishy, because Ken Oforiatta, the Minister of Finance, the letter from the Ministry of Finance said the minister has determined that SML's contract should be expanded to cover so and so. We have attached a contract. The legal department of the Finance Ministry has reviewed it, so GRA should make inputs and what? Sign.
And this letter is dated the 22nd of June 2023, this year.
2023, yes. Now they have brought out a page from the Public Procurement Authority that appears to be giving approval for them to go ahead and award this contract to SML. And this is dated 27th of September, 2023. And everybody who is familiar with the procurement law knows that if you intend to award a contract based on single source procurement, you first apply to the PPA with what you intend to do, the name of the company. The PPA will give you authorization based on your due diligence on the company and what you want to procure before you go ahead to engage the company. But here is a situation where we have the Finance Ministry say, look, we have made a determination, we have settled on the company, and we have gone ahead to even do the contract. Make your inputs and sign. And then over 3 months later, we are now getting a PPA approval. And that PPA approval even says there's a previous approval that should be underwritten or overwritten. So a whole lot of things may have happened behind the scenes.
Right. Manasseh, hold on for me. The minister's letter is titled Expansion of the Scope of Work by Messrs. Strategic Mobilization Limited.
Yes.
This is the letter that says, this is the contract. It has been revised and it is attached. Let's go ahead and deal with it. Now, this is 22nd of June 2023. You are referring to a PPA process dated September of 2023, correct?
Yes, 27th September 2023.
Good. The contract document that you have relied on, which we have shown portions, has a GRA stamp dated the 25th of October 2023. You've seen
Yes.
that, right?
Yes.
And you still think that this contract would have been amended at a certain point? Between when? October to now?
I don't know exactly when the amendment may have taken place. But what I'm saying is that the pages we rely on, the information, whatever document we receive from sources within or close to the GRA and the Finance Ministry, have all these pages that we didn't publish only one page. We published a number of pages, but there's only one page that has been disputed. And I cannot tell, but I'm just trying to point out to you that in this process, if we want to even follow the chronology, something appears not to be right. Because the PPA approval, as we speak, says that, or makes reference to the letter seeking the approval, which is dated 20th September 2023. So meaning, this contract was drafted, every arrangement was concluded. If you have to go by these dates, then in September, they are now going to seek approval.
Right.
So if they had given us access to this contract, which they alone have, perhaps all of this would not have come up.
The next and significant rebuttal from the GRA, which I want you to respond to, has to do with what the company is entitled. And they say you claim they have been paid, but they have not been paid. What's your response to that?
If you read our story, which is online with this conference, we said that there was an existing contract which we dealt with substantially. Then we moved from there and said that this year, the finance minister initiated another contract. And this contract says the company should go into the upstream sector and be paid $0.75 per barrel of oil lifted. Then, in the gold sector, the details we have from our sources says they should be paid 0.75% of total production, but they are going to do monitoring. And when we did the calculation, we have open source information, some of which we picked from the finance minister's budget statement, that says that we have 160,000 to 170,000 barrels per day as our production, oil production. And if you multiply $0.75 by 160,000 barrels, in a day you are getting like 120,000 US dollars that goes to this company. Then you go to the gold sector, and we also indicated where we got our figures from. And that is the gold production figures from 2022. And we produced 3.7 million ounces, and the finance ministry statement, parliament mentions 1,800 US dollars per ounce. We did the calculation there, you are getting about 50 million US dollars a year, plus about 38 to 39 million US dollars a year from the upstream sector. And the downstream sector, we got information that we requested that they give us the payments they've made to SML. As we speak, since July, our letter has not even been acknowledged. As we speak, we haven't got that information, but our sources again give us information about payment details, and we realized that some of the money, this company was paid up to 24 million Ghana cedis. And that in a year also comes to about 20 million US dollars. So if you put everything together, we said this company, per this current arrangement, is entitled to over 100 million US dollars. We have people like John Jinapo who are saying our estimates are even conservative because it's far more than that. But some say, I just want to emphasize that the number of years, whether 10 years or 5 years renewable, is not a substance here. And I'm saying this because when they signed the initial contract, it was in 2019. For the current arrangement, that contract will automatically last for 9 years. And with our experience, contracts of this nature, if you look at the revenue assurance contracts, when they come on board, they don't cease. Even when they cease, another takes over. If you look at similar contracts, there's a contract like that was signed in the first time. As we speak, it is still running. 2006 to 2023, it is still running. The substance here is the amount that will be paid. And if they say that the figures we have or the duration we have, which we know comes from them, is not the final one that they sign, I am prepared to concede that we go by the 5 years. But that doesn't make it any less people that this is a company that is not, from the evidence we have, this company is not supposed to even be paid for a day, because in the gold sector, the experts tell us that there is no reason someone to come there.
All right.
In the oil sector, we are told there are already flow meters.
Thank you.
Thank
you, Manasseh. And Manasseh, the whole thing boils down to what they were supposed to do. The anomalies that they were supposed to curb under declaration, diversion, and dilution of petroleum products. How do you come to the conclusion categorically that they don't do any of this?
Something, we went through the system, the value chain. And if you watch the documentary, we didn't make any of those claims. They claim that GRA is not using the SML measurement figures. This is not a claim we made. It is a claim GRA officials made in the premises of SML. They claim that the existing loading gantry meters take more accurate reading than the SML meters. It's not a claim we made. It's a claim that SML officials made on camera. They claim about these services were on the website of SML. And they said these are the factors that were causing the leakages or the revenue losses. And because we are checking these anomalies, we have been able to solve the problem. But when we went through the value chain, we realized that the ERDMS was doing a lot to check the shortages. And this has been confirmed by the GRA head of petroleum, who spoke in the document, that once you get the volumes right through the ERDMS, which is connected to the icon, you get your taxes right. Then also we realized that there was a company checking the diversion, Rock Africa. They are doing the electronic tracking. And together with the tank gauging systems by the NPA, which ensure that they know the amount of product in a particular tank across the country, they were checking that. So we got to know all of this. So when we got to the GRA, we interviewed the GRA before we interviewed SML. And SML said, sorry, the GRA officials said that, look, the question you are asking us, we have no knowledge about it. We don't think SML is doing this.
All right.
So go and ask SML. So the morning we were to do the interview with SML, GRA officials were there. They even said, look, you raised these services. Now that we are here, SML should clarify. So SML itself told us they were not doing those services, and they proceeded to delete them from their website. So these are not claims that we made. They made those claims. We confronted them with the evidence. And they said that, look, what you said or what is on our website is not true. We are not doing them. And we don't check any under-reporting. And they proceeded to delete them.
All right, thank you. Manasseh, hold on. We'll return to you finally before you go about what you think about what the OSP is starting to do and what Parliament appears to also want to do. We'll ask the former CEO of GMPC to hold on briefly for us. Richard Marfo, Technical Assistant to the Managing Director of the SML. Thank you very much for making the time to join us.
Thank you for something a great organizer. And something I want to put something right here. I'll plead with you that Manasseh has had a lot of PR already in the public. We know your station, and we want to also have a little time to clarify some few things. But before I go on, I want to make some issues categorical first, before now we go into the main subject matter.
You won't let me ask you a question.
The first thing is this. You said...
Go ahead.
Come again.
Go ahead.
Okay. The first thing I want to put out there, a preamble I want to put out there, the context in which Manasseh came to ask the questions as if he's doing a documentary within the downstream is what answers he had. That's number one. Number two, there were some statements made here. I want to clarify them quickly. First thing is that the contract was 10 years. You see, what Manasseh has done is that he has done a big deliberate disservice to SML. A contract of 5 years. He went to the page, I'm alleging he went to the page where it's saying that 5 years, redacted whatever is there. And look at that page, that section 3.1. Look at the word even contractor instead of contracts he put there. And put out this thing out there and claim that that is the contract. That is one thing. And I want to stand by it. It is 5 years and it's not 10 years. Number two.
Hold on. Please, hold on. The contract that we have exhibited this morning on this show, duly executed, which the Fourth Estate relied on. This is the portion about the tenor of the contract. This contract shall commence on the effective date. Hold on. This contract shall commence on the effective date and shall continue in effect for a period of 10 years from the effective date unless terminated. You say we don't understand this English?
No, hold on. I'm never saying that. Something, please don't get me wrong.
Okay.
I'm asking, where is that source coming from? We are claiming that Manasseh put those words together. Simple. And at the right time, we'll go to we'll seek legal redress on those matters.
So please, hold on. So you are saying that, please wait, this is important. And please, I'm the one conducting this interview. We can have a very good discussion if you just take your time. We called you because we want you to respond, have the opportunity to respond further, even though you have already done that. Now, your statement is that this contract is manufactured, it doesn't exist. Is that what you're saying? You are saying it is altered?
Perfect. He put it out there. I'm alleging that Manasseh crafted this and put it out there.
You are alleging that Manasseh drafted the contract which portions we are projecting on TV now and put it there.
Perfect. 3.1. Plus, I've not gotten the time to go through all that he published, but with 3.1 specific, I can confidently say Manasseh did such a great service to the company. And I don't know what to say. But there's a lot of time to talk about some things. I don't want, but I'm putting it out right there that Manasseh crafted this thing. I'm alleging he did this. 3.1.
Okay. So what do you say to those who signed the contract?
Okay, let me, something. You pick a contract page by page. The contract has been signed. You go into a section and you alter a certain section. For what purpose? Surely the signatures will remain contacts. Or don't you get the line of what I'm going to?
Okay. And the contract you have seen is not in Word document. You agree?
Perfect. Oh, but something, I don't want us to go into technology. I'm an AI expert. I'm also an accountant. PDF today, images today, we have what we call OCR, Object Character Recognition. You can just change this and send it back again.
Right.
Something, I don't know. This is simple thing you can
now hold on. Please, I'm not asking you questions I don't know the answers to. To be frank with you, all the things you are about to say, you have already put them out in the public. But because we are having a show again, we want you to repeat them. Now, so you are saying that, why do you think Manasseh will do such a thing? Pick the contracts and then manipulate a particular provision of the contract, change 5 years to 10 years. Why do you think Manasseh will do that?
Something, I'm sure by the time I'm done, you will get the true whole thing, and you should ask Manasseh to exactly the same thing. But I don't want to procure his intention. I don't think I can do that.
Okay. So my next question to you is this. Why did you take the portions in contention, which was on your website? Why did you take them down?
Samson, thank you very much. That is why I wanted to put a preamble there so that it's from the basis in which a lot of the questionings will flow into, so that your good listeners will also make their own independent.
Sorry, we don't have time. So if you can go straight to the answers, it will be good.
Okay. Okay. Now, number one, a website is not an application. It's purely what we call HTML, CSS, and probably little JavaScript for contact section. So if we have something in the website there, that is where I'm going to defend everything that we have here. And we can tell you, by the time I'm done, you can know what the under declarations are, and I'll give you evidence to them. And this evidence will not be something that will come from SML. And evidence that you can go to a state institution and procure a copy for yourself. And this is not evidence that is put in place just now, but from the beginning of the time SML started this way.
Richard, that's not the answer to my question. Why were those, advertisements on your page taken down after the interview with you?
I'm not sure we took anything down. Something, please get there. You will see it's there. It's right there. I'm not.
The investigators took screenshots at each stage. Are you denying that one too?
Something, I deny that one too, please. I deny that one. I can also claim that some, Manasseh also did those things, and he can do that because he has done works with the contract, exactly what he did with the company's website too. Take the image of it, do a print screen, read something. I don't want us to go there much.
Please go there. We are listening to you. Just go there. We are listening to you.
Okay. I can say confidently, the same way Manasseh handled the contracts, 3.1, the section, rephrase that whole English there, and also change a significant element in it, which is a year of a contract, into 10, from 5 to 10. The same way I will stand on to say that he did to this website.
Okay. Do you appreciate why the contract was not given to the journalists when they applied for it through RTI, the law, using the law that requires you to give the contract? Do you appreciate why the contract was not given?
Something, please, I'm not GRA and I'm not Minister of Finance, so I'm sorry. That question.
Okay.
Minister of Finance and GRA to answer.
You were in the room in your offices, or what was the venue, when the interview was being conducted with Christian Soti, right?
Perfect. Now let me put this little thing out there. Before Manasseh wanted to come in, the GRA contacted us and they told them that, oh, MD is not around. Ask Manasseh will confirm this. He was trailing the MD just came. Then he called again. That Manasseh said, oh, I've seen MD. Then they told Manasseh, his technical assistant is not around. So we wish his technical assistant is around for a lot of the things to be much more clearer to you, just like I'm going to do here. Manasseh said, oh no, he's just trying to do documentary to appreciate the downstream process. Then Mr. Soti came up. So for me personally, I was on tour with the chief executive on the same subject as to the downstream and also the upstream and the gold issue. I think we'll get into all that. So I was not around before Manasseh showed up.
All right. So you heard the answers from your MD. That one, Manasseh is not the one, or that one too, you have an issue. He went and twisted what your MD said. The clear admissions your MD said that you don't provide these services.
Good one. Let me answer the question directly. You see, something we are contracted by the Ministry of Finance in extension GRA. We are doing some work in there that we are not clothed with state powers to go and chase anybody, either a BDC or an OMC. So we don't have that right to say that there is under declaration or some diversions to communicated directly to BDC or OMC because they are just third parties. It's the way Manasseh asked the questions and the answers he got. So let's get it that way.
He asked whether you provide these services. And his answer was that that's not what you do. You are saying Manasseh asked the wrong question?
No, I'm not saying he asked the wrong question. Okay. I'm saying that the context in which Manasseh came, the context in which he asked the question. In those contexts, if you get you have the full appreciation of all the videos, not just the ones he has just published. You will now know, or you will now appreciate where the MD's angle is coming from. And I would have answered the same thing, just like the MD did.
So your MD's response was a categorical denial that
no,
we have the documentary. Please wait, we can play it back again for you. Where he denied stating anywhere that the company was providing services that checked under declaration, dilution, and diversion of petroleum products.
Something.
And then when he was pressed further and pointed to him that this was already advertised on your website, he emphasized that it was an error. Do you hear him say that?
Something.
Yes.
Let me tell you this. No, please. I'm pleading with you, something. I'm pleading with you. Someone have come from an angle within a certain context. And by the end of the day, we'll show you we have under declaration, diversion, evidence base with GRA. And I will tell you the business case upon which SML came. So I'm sure by the time we get into the meat of the issue, a lot of these questions.
Your boss said this. He said we are not involved in diversion. Okay, I want to understand you. You were sitting right there with the journalist when the questions were being posed. At that time, you didn't object to this.
I told you that the technical assistant to the MD, I was not there.
You were not there.
Okay. He should hold on. He said no. He still wanted to do some appreciation within the sector. I wasn't there, please. So something. You see, the relevant issue, Manasseh has done PR to a whole lot of issues. If we don't go into that, something, you've done us a big disservice.
What do you say? What do you say when you hear Mustafa Hamid of the MPA say that they don't understand what you are doing and they are seeking to have a meeting with you because they don't understand what you are doing? The system already exists. Let me
answer it quickly. I think because of time, I think on the Mustafa Hamid issue. I'm really surprised at Mustafa Hamid. In that documentary, he claims he doesn't even know us. We have several secularization between SML and Mustafa Hamid. I can tell you on authority, Mustafa Hamid knows what we are doing. And by the time we go through that, we are not duplicating efforts in the sector. All Ghanaians will establish that. And at the right time, in the near coming days, we'll put all the evidences out there. Let us Mustafa Hamid sign, let us SML sign, the kind of joint work we do together, only for him to say that if really Manasseh didn't also twist that video. But if what I saw, if that is the full thing, I'm also disappointed in Mustafa Hamid. But until we see the full closure of everything.
Until then, you have a suspicion that Mustafa's comments were also twisted by Manasseh.
Perfect.
Okay. Richard, hold on briefly for me, okay? Just be a little patient with us. Hold on briefly for me. Alex Mould, thank you very much. And we bring you on because when the story broke, you suggested that you have encountered such attempts previously, and you knew that whoever it is were not up to any good, and you declined. From what you have seen in this documentary and the responses that have come forward, what will you say?
Well, first of all, the real question is, what value added are these SML guys bringing to the system, real? And what should be the remuneration if they are actually bringing value added? I think those are the questions that should be answered. And first of all, from my understanding of this industry, and I have worked since 1985 in this industry. I have climbed tanks, I've done volume, I've worked on the gantry, I've discharged products from ships. So we know all the tricks in the system. We know what we can do and what we can't do. When we got to MPA, we decided to address issues that were of concern to the players, including the customers, under-reporting, under-delivering, product contamination. That's the main gist of it. So NPA, and my belief is that we should build institutions. We should make sure that the regulator is working with the right petroleum service providers to provide solutions, and they should be paid or remunerated accordingly, not excessively, but accordingly. So BRV tracking, this is the bulk rod vehicles, the tankers, we put a tracking device on them. And we got all the OMCs and transporters to subscribe to it. That means that you would know where your tanker is at any time. If that stopped on scheduled stop, you would know. The next thing was, how do we ensure the volume in the tankers are not reduced during the journey? So we put in volumetric tracking systems. This, I believe, has been replaced by an electronic cargo system where electronic seals of the hatches and valves are used. So we're addressing the problem of short delivering to the petrol stations and short delivering to the consumer, making sure the right products were done. The next thing we did was we had to ensure that the volumes that were coming into the country were the same volumes that were being delivered. And as such, the government was getting the right revenue. I do not understand why MPA, first of all, would allow a non-service provider to put flow meters in depots without being licensed. I don't understand it. If you're a player in the industry, you have to be licensed, and as such, MPA should know what you're doing. For MPA to say they do not know what the guys are doing, or they don't have a clue, or they're not associated with it, it's wrong. NPA is the regulator, and there's nobody in this country, not even the president, can order these people to do it without MPA approving it.
Why do you describe them as a non-service provider? Because the service they are providing, is for tax purposes.
They are a service provider. They are not a non-service provider. They are PSP. They are a petroleum service provider. If you put a flow meter in a depot, you are providing a service, and as such, you should be under the NPA. You should be licensed by NPA. Even if your job was technically not about this industry, but for the finances of it, for audit assurance. You still are, because you have to ensure that the health and safety of the equipment you are bringing into the system complies with the regulations of the country. So you are providing a service. So you have to be regulated by the NPA. So NPA should know about it.
Kindly hold on a second for me. Richard, what do you say to this?
Yeah, a good one. I think Alex Mode have just nailed the matter. Just like I was speaking about Mustafa Hamid issue. If he doesn't know us, we can never get there. And if we have not gone through the process of who does what, and there is any duplication of effort, we wouldn't have been there in the first place, which will go into the details. Number two, remember, if we have not got the right ISO certifications and the requirement thereof that NPA must certify before we get there, we wouldn't have been there in the first place. So please, all those things as Alex have put out there, all these things are in place.
The question is being asked as to whether you were actually qualified for this contract in the first place. Your MD tells the investigators that you were a timber company that has now changed into this, but there's no proving track record. How did you get selected through sole sourcing?
Something, when it comes to matters of procurement, please, I'm begging you. I'm a technical person. I'm going to deal with issues on under declaration and everything, the business case of SML, to defy those duplicitous issues. Please don't push me into this.
No, I'm not going, Richard, I'm not going into the technical aspect. I just want us to stay around maybe section 40 of the Procurement Act about single source procurement. There are grounds to give a contract in this situation. The law says where goods, works, or services are only available from a particular supplier or contractor, or if a particular supplier or contractor has exclusive rights in respect of the goods, works, or services, and no reasonable alternative or substitute exists. We are aware from Ben Boachi and the rest of them. They say they don't know you in the industry.
I'll plead with you. If you ask procurement question and you do subsequent ones, followed up, I'm not having that capacity. I'm pleading with you. Don't let us go into procurement now here.
Okay. Thanks for clarifying why I brought you in on Alex Mould's submission. Okay, so Alex, continue with your submission. What do you think ought to be done from what you're seeing? What do you see and what do you think ought to be done?
So I think the MPA has a plan. And when I talk about MPA, I'm not talking about whether it's NDC or MPP. It's MPA. MPA has a plan, and we're trying to execute it. And I believe one of the things that we're trying to do is volume integrity, okay, for both the consumer and also for government. So one thing you have to do is you have to do a material balance. All the products that enters the country enters through the CBM or the jetty, either in Tema or Takrady, and it's placed in the tanks. So there are various ways you monitor to make sure that the volumes are right. Every month there is tank verification, that the volumes in the tanks are verified, and everybody's involved. GRA through customs is involved, the tank depot owners are involved, the product owners are involved, the independent inspectors are involved, NPA is involved, everybody's involved in ensuring that we know what the volumes are. At the end of the day, you do a material balance of how much product you brought into the country, how much you have discharged through the meters at your gantry, and how much is done. By the way, this is done by the product depots on a daily basis, but on a monthly basis, everybody gets involved and does it. And every half year we do a huge reconciliation.
Yes.
So reconciliations have been done, and it's been done in the industry all the time.
I'm sorry we have run out of time. What's your sense of this contract and what should be done?
Well, what should be done is, one, NPA should be in charge of this. NPA put an EDRMS system in place which verifies all the volumes. These volumes are reconciled with GRA on a daily basis and on a monthly basis, so there is no volume lost, and it should be integrated in the GRA system, which I believe is the ICUM system, which is already done. So NPA instituted this in 2017 and integrated it into GRA in 2018. Since then, the reconciliations have been okay. There has not been any shortfall. So I don't know what the added value SML is bringing to the table. And I do not know how they reconcile their remuneration. The remuneration should be based on your fixed cost versus your variable cost. And if there is any added value you bring to it, you should only be paid for the value added, not for the full volume that we already. And this brings to my issue of smuggling. Smuggling has been done and is being done mainly at the fishing harbor and at the harbors where the large volumes come in with the collusion of the harbor masters and security forces. And also, it has to be said that somebody high up in Jubilee House must be involved, because these operators cannot allow that to be done. My understanding that this smuggling has gone down since 2017 to 2018, and the volumes are far lower. We should ensure that we stop doing that. If GRA believes that its custom officers at the depots are colluding with the tank operators and with the oil marketing companies, then they should ensure that they have good personnel at these depots, because I don't think the flow meters or anything is going to solve the problem if we don't have good personnel.
Thank you very much.
Reconciliation is the way to go.
Thank you very much. Alex Mould is former CEO of the GMPC. He's a finance and energy advisor. Manasseh Azure-Awunem is a journalism fellow, Harvard University. And Richard Mafo is technical assistant to the managing director of the SML, that is Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited. OSP has commenced work. Parliament has also commenced some work in this contract. So we can wait to see what happens. I'm Samson Ladia Yenini. Thank you for your company throughout the year. And thanks for the many messages I've seen congratulating us for what we have been committed to. We have been committed to for you in the course of the year. We can only assure you that, God willing, next year we will bring you even more of these productions. My outfit, as always, is by Habil's Couture. You can find them at Adringano Gates. And also, as I told you earlier, these are from Hafzis, and you can call them 0555. That's 0555 940 022 to place your orders. They will do it according to your pockets and deliver to your friends and loved ones, luxury hampers, affordable gift items. Thank you all very much. They are at East Legon, Shashi, adjacent Gethsemane Memorial Gardens, next to Total Wine. Have a good afternoon.